Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Serious Strategy Gamer and we're returning to a Let's Play of Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich Edition, where we are playing as Great Britain and we're trying to see what's gonna become of this world. So in between episodes I did just go ahead advance time by about 3 days here, where I did primarily re-establish our navy because it's such a mess and it took such a long time to restructure. So let's briefly talk what we have. We've also split out the Republican Army here, 6 divisions, and the Home Guard. On the strategic naval side, what we've got now is we've got the battle group. This is the army of the heavy hitters. These are the dreadnoughts. So in this historical alternative alternative timeline, dreadnoughts are still around. They've got immense armor, they've got heavy attack. These guys are extremely heavy hitters, but they're extremely slow too. So maybe a little bit old-fashioned. Then we've got the battle cruiser squadron. These are the fast battleships, so slightly different classification there. Much less armor, much less piercing, but a significantly faster speed. So that I think is great. We've also got the submarine fleet, which is basically what it says on the box. And then we've got these carrier fleets. We've got about 2 heavy carrier groups with 2 carrier each. So that's 60 aircraft per carrier. So 120 aircraft in one of these fleets. They are accompanied by these very fast battleships, which do push down their speed just a tiny scooch, but I think that's fine. Also got a couple of cruisers and destroyers in here, and we've got the scout group, which is sort of a weird thing. This guy had actually, when I looked at him, he had 100 airplanes on there. I don't know how, but he did. And then we've got this slightly smaller carrier here, so more of an escort carrier really. Slightly faster, but you know, these guys are basically a little bit our scouting group, and they'll probably be there to serve the anti-submarine warfare. Speaking of anti-submarine warfare, we've also got a group of 100 destroyers over here, which we're going to keep pretty much in reserve for now, I think. Could actually bring them into the reserve pool, although I don't think that's that important, so that's fine. The submarines are training, and I think that's okay too, so that we do get some naval experience at the very least. We will need to have a look on our fuel, but I think that's going to be alright once our guys do get back into position. Right, here's the first event, assassination of President Kerensky, something that usually happens in Russia. Basically shows unknown, like yada yada yada, basically shows that just how turbulent these times are, and I think that's fine, and well, as we could see. You can also see, if you don't know, we've started the 1936 Congress Union over here. You can see our research, pretty much basic stuff, and here is our first thing. Conrad Mosley of the Maxim faction, so these are sort of Marxist, although they're not called that way, has invited, so Mosley, by the way, I think in his real life he was a British fascist, invited Georges Valois of the French Surrealists, Berea of the former Bolsheviks in Georgia, Mussolini on the Italian National Syndicalists of Birmingham to compile a manifesto stating their joint aims for a new kind of socialism called totalism. Chairman Snowden's Federation should keep an eye on this development. And of course these are exactly the guys that we do when we come over here in Britain and play the rest of the game instead. By the way, I did use the red star over here for our Republican Army. These guys are basically elite units, at least regular level. Most of them are infantry with tank support, interestingly enough, so that is an interesting template. Huh, really? Well, who would know? Edward VIII is crowned as King of Britain, of course not in Britain itself, but in Canada basically. Totalist Charter, yada yada, basically other socialist faction, totalism, that is who we are. Right, and I think we can just breeze through the events over here. Probably in terms of our focus over here, we probably need to very much focus on the export stuff so that we can get our construction rolling pretty quickly. You know what, I think we might squeeze in another civilian factory. Just maybe in East Anglia, why not? Just prioritize that here as number 2. 5th Anglo-African War, Afghani War. Anglo is in this case not us, but basically the Dominion of India, and these guys. Suriname is in France, syndicalist nation, so France did fall of course faster to Germany than historically, so they also lost a little bit more. Luxembourg, a little bit more of the Alsace, Strasbourg. I don't think there's anything too important here. France is probably sort of allied to us. I think historically you would probably think that they would regard each other with a little bit of suspicion, but we're going to have to see about that. Right, we have the chance to modify our government. I don't think that's something that we do need to do right now. You certainly need to repair. Can I actually ask you to split off any repairs? And you should engage a medium, split off, should not be disabled. Enabled. Yeah, that's fine. So, right, these guys are now repairing. That might allow us to do a little bit of fuel. No. Unfulfilled import request, that is a pity. You guys will not be our deliverer of rubber anymore. Madras. Really, Madras? Don't really trust Madras. No one else really has anything though. Trade influence is extremely low in CM or any of the German colonies really. So we have to ask Brazil. Okay, that's fine because for now we don't need that much rubber anyway. But ultimately I'm not really happy about this. This equipment production, we're not producing fighters, that's okay. We are researching new fighters. So that is something that is not quite alright. Restoration of democracy. Pah! In Australia, lots of things. Death of a Pope, not that important. And most importantly, our Congress is about to begin. Australian Confederation is starting to become a little bit more democratic. And something is happening with Romania. So, here we go. Today the Trade Union Congress of 1936 has begun. The various factions of the Congress send their delegates. And soon we're going to get a couple of interesting decisions about how exactly we want to structure our government going forward. Just the head of military intelligence for now. That's okay. A little bit of insufficient resources. Chromium. Delegates from socialist nations and political movements around the world gathered in Paris today for the latest in a series of world congresses. While the mantle of the Third International was taken up by the communards after the Russian Civil War, the ideological tenor of the event promises very syndicalist, yada 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 yada, military parade, and so on and so forth. Not that much to go on about for us at this very moment. As long as it's just one chromium, I think I'm going to be fine. Let's have a look at what is being produced with chromium. I'm guessing ships. Proved submarine hulls. Over there. Yeah, it's basically only this battleship. How much debuff are we getting? Just 5%. That's fine. So, here we go. First of our decisions. The debate has wandered into the area of economics. As has been predicted, every faction has put forth their own suggestions. Most people assume that the Maxims will win this debate, since Oswald Mosley is a major figure in the British economy these days. Must be expanded, centralized and streamlined. Must be expanded and centralized. Or greater autonomy. Now, I want to say totalism. That is what we're going for. Pretty much total communist. Peace deal, Dominion, Canada. Okay, and Afghanistan, that's okay. Decisions available still. Really? Public support? I don't think we need that right now, so that's fine. Gonna leave that. Paper conclave, not that important for us either. Third International. France has gone through with its designs to hold the first Congress of the Third International, and we, as expected, have received an invitation. It would be foolish not to send one, so yeah, we could cook up a lot of base negative stability. We're gonna send, of course, a delegation to France. Because they are syndicalists, as we are, and that is perfectly fine. Modify government, just military, the head of syndicalists. Do we want to help out the communists in Spain? I think that we do. We basically want to spread out as aggressively as possible. Jack Reed and the Combined Syndicalists. American journalist, poet and syndicalist activist Jack Reed spoke to the Congress for an hour and 15 minutes about the crisis facing the United States and the chance for the revolution in the Western Hemisphere. In the South, the American First Committee is stronger than the central government, and the North is suffering from a depression as the West Coast prospers. If the United States were to crumble in the face of revolution, then the exiles would be paralyzed. Do we want to pledge our support to the American worker, or do we want to remember what happened last time the Americans had a revolution? I think the latter. And the reason for that is, of course, that ultimately we want to reconquer the United States, so we don't want to do it this way. Women's role in worldwide Republican revolution, a little bit of base stability, that's nice. And we've got the debate onto international policy vote. And again, I think we're just going to go with the local government must be brought in line with the TOC, so with the Trade Union Congress, I want to say, and basically go for totalism here. And White Terror, we have, I think this is totally irrelevant. So we've heard about the White Terror horror stories that have been coming out of Madrid and Barcelona, and Kurt Eisner, Bavarian socialist, dived deep into the White Terror that he has seen in Bavaria. After hearing more stories that come out of Germany, Austria, Hungary, Russia and Finland, the Congress members were ready to make their decisions. Another reason why we must end the capitalist system of murder and robbery, or do we have to admit that it would be hypercritical? Of course, we're not going to admit that it's hypercritical. Of course it is, but we're not going to say so. Right, all of these submarines are being trained up to a better standard over here, so that's nice to see. Click on Mongolia, don't care about that. And the Indians are asking for a little bit of support, and I think we're going to grant that to them. So we are going to help them out and hopefully get them to reunite India under the communist flag. Politicians in London, more scientists. That is certainly nice. Insufficient resources, non-aggression pact from Soviet Russia, of course. So Russia is descending into a second civil war, and it seems the Soviets have very much the upper hand here, with basically the entire country flipping. I don't think I've seen that. And only White Ruthenia is free, so that's interesting. Military policy. The military must be expanded, and local measures placed under local under central control. So definitely that is something that we're gonna go for there. I think that should probably push us into the syndicalist front very heavily. Basic machine tools, that's nice. We are gonna go for concentrated industry over here, because that is something that's just the theme of the game really. Just concentration of force into the hands of one party. And I think that's fine, what could possibly go wrong? Okay, very good. So that's just 2 chromium now, still alright. Modified government, that's still only that. Philip Snowden is withdrawing over here. Let's get you into new army and let's get you to train up a little bit. I think that's going to be fine. We do want to get a little bit of army experience. By the way, we can potentially assign you new stuff over here. Yeah, you've got new traits. And let's go for aggressive assaulter. And do you want to go for organization? I think that is not quite necessary. We will not have the manpower anyway. We could go for guerrilla fighter. Entrenchment speed is nice, but I think recovery rate here is going to be the best. So that is certainly very nice. And then we've got you. What can you do? Panzer expert or combined arms? Both of these are going to go with encirclement. I would say that sort of our motorized units are going to be a little bit more numerous. On the other hand, you are already Panzer leader, so or armored leader, so we're going to go for this. I think that's going to be fine. Good. Right, a couple of things to take a note over here. Let's get these guys here trained up, so that should be okay. Insufficient resource, we do have very low manpower, that's okay. Congress of Trade Unions has been finished. Let's give this a second here to tick over. And congratulations, Congress mostly is our new head of government. So that's fine. This very fine gentleman over here, with a permanent limb, he started out as a conservative and then went over to the Labour Party. He's now a very influential face and just what you would sort of expect. So, we could go here for the political commissars. So for the logical next steps. Would reduce our political power a little bit, but would increase the popularity of our party, which might increase a little bit our power gain, but I'm not too convinced that that is too important at this very moment. We could just generally improve our army, especially dissolving the militias would be extremely good. On the other hand, political army experience is not that important for us at this moment. Political power is sort of difficult to come by. And Navy, we're not going to care about. Aircraft, we're not going to care about. Britain within the international. I think that would be great to get some new political power. 60 days. How about these things over here? Another 60 days also. Research bonus for concentrated industry is helpful. But we are going to be... I think we don't need that right now, so we're going to go for the space in the international sphere, so that we're learning a little bit about that. You guys are trading up, you are suffering from attrition, but you'll be fine. We have, I think, more than enough in terms of industrial power to just keep on going like this for a little while over here. 74 political power for now. We'll have to change that up a little bit as time goes on. How is our training going? So we've got a couple more divisions over here. Probably the first of you have been granted more unassigned divisions. That's fine. A couple of research things going on. CM I don't really care about. And user do need to be training up as well. Construction and Hawk-Hurricane. It is still very much 1936, so not really time to do anything over here. Potentially construction, don't really need that. I think the support stuff over here would be good, as would this be. In terms of capital ships, I don't think there's anything that we can research. Oh well, we can research this new equipment over here, that's interesting. Can't do anything about carriers though. In terms of escort ships, very much like to get better anti-submarine stuff. Improved torpedo tubes would also be lovely, as would the snorkel. We've got the improved submarine hull, but yeah, any real breakthrough down here is going to be too tough, I think. Damage control, bracket shooting, all of that is very good. Mines, yeah, I'm not too convinced we need any of this really, except for maybe some of the capital ship stuff. Improved heavy stuff, I mean super heavies or just heavies would be great, but I think it's not going to be our long-term focus here. So yeah, no, we're not going to go for that now. So in that sense, I think probably anti-air would be good. Although on the engineering side, we'd also do need to get into this train down here. So let's go ahead for the radio here. I think that's a fine idea. Did I just pick two things? I think I did. Okay, so yeah, we've also got the fighters over there. That's okay then. Yeah, we have this, we have this. Could start on the machinery tools. It's a little bit ahead of time, but these are very, very useful things. So I don't think that we are going to do that for now. Naval bombs, close air support, heavy fighters, tactical bombers. Might go for those. Trade interdiction, any of these ships? No, I don't think so. Let's go for the anti-air stuff. Mostly because it allows our ships to be built up a little bit better as well, and that would be nice. We are very much short on fuel over here, but I think all in all we're going to be alright once we've sent our submarines here. Basically back to base, I believe, and that's what we're going to do over here. So ask you to not train up anymore, except for this one gentleman down here, which is going to form a new task force, and you and only you are going to train up. It's okay. Yeah, we have a little bit of naval experience over here, and we are again building up our fuel, so that also is very nice. Building a civilian factory there and a couple of military factories, so that's good too. I think we could build up a fuel silo. Let's say in Yorkshire. It's gonna take a while till we get there anyway. Right, nearly 100 political power would be great, because we can switch out of civilian economy into early mobilization, and that is fine. Probably this decision is going to go away. Argentina is having troubles. We are short of chromium by now, by quite a bit. Cuba is delivering all that we are asking it to, but you know what, I think we actually are going to ask Soviet Russia here instead, simply because they are also syndicalists, and I like that. How about rubber? Brazil, Madras, Liberia. The majority. Alright. Good. How's our other research looking? Mechanical computing coming on fairly shortly. That's great. And a little bit more political power doesn't hurt either, because there's so many things that we really need over here in government, including potentially switching up a couple of these guys. Mechanical computing, there we go. A fairly good thing over there. Basic fire control system, I think we could actually skip that. Requires technology basic computing. Yeah, we could potentially skip that and go straight into improved one. It's going to take a little while. Sorry about the background noise, I didn't quite even notice that. Right, and well, more artillery. You know what? I think we're going to go for the better tanks over here. So that should be nice. And you know what? We can also start to produce some new aircraft, namely the Hurricanes over here. So let's go ahead and let's get it right to the top of the key over here. And I think we're going to actually ask you to build at least devote 5 or so factories on that. I think that's going to be okay. Building up some nice stocks of some of these materials. I think we can do with a little bit fewer light tanks. Britain within the international is done, so that's nice to see. Support for foreign comrades would give us political power. Australian friends, mission to Norway. I think that does give us a lot of things. Show of force, naval experience. Could go to war with Ireland. Wouldn't be the worst, could give us a nice boost over there. But for now, I think centralized industry. Mobilized industry would be so good. Also the political power here just seems like a very, very nice grab. And more civilian factories is always very nice. And we've got a bonus to construction technology here. How far are we ahead with the technology? Concentrated industry 73 days. After 73 days, we will still be very early on in the year, so I think that's not really the priority for now. So you know what, let's get political commissars over here, starting to develop a little bit our internal system. I think that's great. You guys are training up and you're fairly soon going to be done. So let's get ready to get you over and into the regular army, just so that we're not wasting too much stuff. There we go.
Ready, sir.
I think a lot of you guys will soon be done as well. What decisions available? Oh, and of course we can further modify the government. And I think we're actually going to go for partial mobilization over here. Just straight from this to this. That does give us a little bit more fuel, less political. Yeah, I think that's just going to be great. There we go. Construction, yeah, we now have, I think, about 5 more factories here. Or 5 more things that we can use to build factories. Don't really need the fuel bunker for now, so we're going to keep it as a very low priority. Just going to keep on building military factories here. Germany's Asia declared war on the Indonesian. So Indochina declares independence. That's interesting to see. After the Weltkrieg, Germany seized all of this area. And there is a revolution going on now. I think that is something that we've seen last time already as well. Okay, you can stop your training here. How about you guys? I don't think you have any spare submarines, sort of. Okay, so that means we're going to build this up a lot faster. Can we get promotions on any of these guys? I thought there was. Oh yeah, you can definitely. So do we want to go Silent Hunter or Lancer? I think Lancer would be such a nice one actually. Torpedo screen penetration, yeah, let's pick that. That means we can do a lot more things there, and torpedoes cooldown is also fairly good. And that, I think, already picks us into very good shape over there. Let's also have a look at these guys over here. You could do flight deck manager, sort efficiency is going to go up, nice. And then we have further things that we can pick here. Fighter director, fighter sort efficiency, close air support or torpedo bomber. I think torpedo bomber is going to be what we're going to go for. Yeah. Air attack is a little bit stupid. The air mission efficiency I think is great. Yeah, let's go for torpedo. Oh, we don't have enough points. Fine. We do have a question though. It has become apparent to many in the international that it is the responsibility of all sufficiently developed syndicalist nations to provide industrial support to those, and so on and so forth. And of course we're going to do that. Also, since we are going to get a benefit from that as well. And that of course is not something to be shunned at. You guys, you do need to train up there. You guys can get over here. That's fine. So we are continuing our training program here. And that is very nice. Nate. So, war on the Arabian Peninsula as well. So we've got war over here. We've got a little bit of war in the Pacific. Got unassigned divisions that do need to train up. All of you, please. Thank you. Insufficient resources. What is that? Rubber. And we've got political commissars done. We could go directly, more or less directly down here. We've got political power. I think we'd lose that immediately though. Or we could gain war support and a little bit of party popularity. Party popularity wouldn't be bad, but I think it's time to go for the central industry. So let's go ahead and with that. And that might be alright. Train up. Yeah, but we are building up our army slowly but surely. We only have 140,000 men in reserves, which is of course absolutely pitiful. But that's fine, I think. Building up a nice number of fighters now, so that should be okay. Research into the first thing here. A lot of research actually. Let's have a look at that. And what we've got over here is... So... I think artillery is never a very bad choice. Pretty much have done all of this. Could grab this, but I think I'd rather go for the construction speed. And it's a very short, very quick thing rather to research. Again, we have all of this stuff, or it's very far ahead of time. So I don't think that's something that we do need. Could go for close air support, but I think the fighters are the most important thing. Doctrine's important, but not quite as important. Yeah, radar is something that we do need. And ultimately we also want to go for this. I think for now the construction here is the best. It's only 100 days. Yes, it is a little bit ahead of time. But construction speed plus 10% is a fairly good bond. So let's do take that, and I think that's going to be fairly good for us. Other than that, we are going here for the central industrial research. So I think once that is done, we probably can also go for the next level of centralized research over here. Even that doesn't take that long right now. It would certainly be very good to have that, because industrial output is just always extremely good for us. There's no focus bypassed. Mission to Norway. And we could now build 2 civilian factories basically in Ostlandet. Is that in Norway? Are we sending them stuff? We should offer them economic assistance. Honestly, I don't think that's on our top priority for now. It would be nice, of course, and it's nice that they are syndicalists, but yeah, for now we have so much stuff on our plate, so that's nice. Yeah, but I do accept the non-aggression pact, that's fine. We've pretty much no quarrel with the Norwegians. I think sometimes, often the Swedes actually might actually proclaim allegiance to the German Empire, so I'd rather not keep that. I'd rather have them split up a little bit, rather than being all in our face, basically. Okay, soon I think you will be able to switch over there. How is the rest of our recruitment going? Infantry divisions. That's fine. You long elected President of the United States. That's okay. I think we are going to try to build up at least a couple of motorized units as well. Elections in Italy. Surprising. And Central Industrial Research. Very nice. Show force still doable. Do we want to go for an early Irish War? Gain war goal on them. Wouldn't be bad. And we could do that in 120 days basically. Could get a little bit of naval experience in the process. But then again, would be strong enough? I don't know. I don't actually think the civilian factories are that important. Neither really is the military construction speed, although we are building a lot of those. And nor is the production efficiency cap, but this one here, factory output plus 10%. That's huge. And we do ultimately, I think, want to go for this, for which we need mobilized industry and either one of these. So at least 6 things, but this would be great. This would be really good. On the other hand, getting Ireland would also be well, getting Ireland would be nice, but I think it would not be you building up that much stuff for us. I mean, basically, what have they got? They've got... do we actually know that over here? They've got 4 factories. 10 factories, basically. 4 military ones. It's not that great a deal. And you're probably guaranteed or something by someone else? No, not really. Okay, we might want to go for that fairly quickly, so we can also build up a little bit of our base over here to cover our approaches. Yeah, I think that's going to be okay. But you know what, for now I do have to put in a cut here. We have certainly gone through 1936 relatively fastly. I do want to keep up the pace until something very interesting happens. Of course, for now we do need to build up our nation just into the sort of socialist society that we do want to see over here. So, for now, thank you very much for watching, guys, and see you again next time. Bye bye!